Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot News, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Querendus
Hello.
and Cinders.
Hey.
Hello, welcome back, Where? And
Thank you.
let us talk about the latest update to the Lord of the Rings Online, which was released this week. That is update 38. The Corsairs of Umbar. And in this, we have face the rising tide of the kindred's power, unfurl the sails and brace yourself for an intoxicating rush of adventure as you approach the enigmatic shores of Umbar. Feel the sea salt kiss your face, and the promise of untold tales beckons from the horizon. Here, in the heart of the city of the Corsairs, dark-bannered vessels whisper of legendary raids alongside the kindred of the coin's power plays. With King Elisar's mandate in your heart, rally a crew of old friends and newfound allies. Dive headfirst into the dangerous shores of Umbar. Find your sea legs with the new innovative Mariner class and reclaim the spirit of discovery in lands that LOTRO has never ventured before. After you start in lands where they literally has ventured before.
I'm just giggling at the idea of diving headfirst into the shore. I'd really prefer to not do that.
What? What do you mean? I mean, you could just stand on the shore and get a debuff anyway, even it says you're too far from shore, but anyway.
I'm just thinking that sounds like a headache waiting to happen.
I mean, I've fallen down dangerous holes not on purpose in Moria and done a lot of other stupid things, yeeting myself over cliffs following people. Wouldn't be the first time.
True.
Okay.
I'm reformed, though. I'm reformed, okay?
Yes.
Well, I was actually thinking of your sister, and I didn't follow you the one time that I really recall you doing that. So, yeah, I'll believe you. I'll believe you.
Yes. And find your sea legs with the Mariner. Chart your own course with the Mariner, slashing through foes with slick sword play, belting out rousing sea shanties, and pulling off crafty moves that'll have enemies spinning in confusion. I know one or two people aren't quite settled with the Mariner, and whenever they play the Mariner, they spin in confusion.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you do the move to the target on the Mariner, I am the one spinning in confusion. So
Yes. And fight fierce new enemies from the striking coastlines of Outer Gondor to the sandy stretches of the Shield Isles. Untold dangers and formidable adversaries lie in wait. And in fact, there's a new enemy that you face sort of even when you're still in King's Gondor. And over 350 unique quests venture deep into Umbar's heart, navigating political intrigues and ancient mysteries as the formidable kindred of the coins rise, threatening the fragile peace King Elisar and Queen Arwen have sought so hard to achieve. And unique end-game content, charge into an increase at level 150 cap, dive into pulse-pounding instances. Well, instances aren't quite ready yet. That would be for probably 38.1 and gain access to an exciting new raid that's probably 38.2 and prepare for an adventure like no other. And of course, the ad, unlock the ultimate seafaring adventure with unique cosmetic pets and extra expeditions with the collectors and ultimate fan bundles. Yes, that's the sales pitch and also the announcement, a special note for the release of Corsairs of Umbar. And of course, there's who are features level 140 to 150 characters, content for them, and continues the story of the Songs of Waves and Wind. Now, they have decided that whenever they continue with a new chapter of the Song of Waves and Wind, you can pick up the next chapter at Midsummer Minas Tirith. And the same person that you talk to when you pick up chapter one, you could pick up any point in the storyline. He'll have it. You'll have it there. But you could, of course, continue it where you left off. If, for example, you finished chapter one and you're at that bard or whatever her title is that you speak to at the end of chapter one, she will also be. You can also pick it up at her, and that she'll also send you to Aragorn for the next chapter of it. So you can either pick up where you left off, or you could pick up at the point where you are told to begin it. And anything before I actually start with the actual release notes?
No, I think I'm good.
All right then. Let's start with classes. Player melee skill ranges have been normalized. This means that most damaging melee skills should now have the same range across classes, though there are some exceptions. I presume that the exceptions are the type where I guess just the thematic thing of whatever the skill is.
Well, I know that you can also get well, that's more for range, but you can extend some skills, and I would presume that different classes may have things that
Right,
do have like wider AoEs. Like what the Guardian now has that big skill that you could put that big light puddle
The Bastion,
down.
yes.
Yes, I mean, so stuff like that I would imagine might be bigger than the 4 meters or 5 meters.
All right, so those might be the exceptions that you're talking about then. All right. In light of this change, many persistent, harmful ground effects throughout the game have been reduced in size. In general, targeted melee skills you should now have a max range of 4 meters. Area effect melee skills should have a max range of 5 meters. Brawler's melee range tracery has been changed and now increases aggressive posture's damage bonus. And some area effect skills have had their base number of targets increased. As for the Bjorning barter vendor has been returned to the Oxclan merchant camp to trade with Orthanc instant cluster equipment, and I have absolutely no reason why that was removed in the first place. Updated Bjorning rewards in older instances to replace existing medium armor rewards with heavy armor and relevant jewelry rewards. A number of Bjorning skills had errant knockback effects on them. Only Final Strike and Savage Knockdown should have a knockback effect. Composure is now affected by the blue line trait Animalistic. Counterattack now consumes the recently evaded effect gained from evades while counter is active. This will allow you to regain the effect thereafter rather than timing out after a fixed duration. Counter increases evade chance by 15% while active. This is an increase from 10%. And Bjornings now gain 1 meter of extra melee range in bear form, down from 2 meters. Alright. So I guess that's also one of the exceptions. Alright. Burglar. Provokes cooldown has been reduced by 2 seconds. Brawler. Battle flow description fixed to show the correct bonus as indicated that it applies to all skill damage. But captains. Most damaging captain skills now generate additional threat while specialized in the leader of men. Impactful blows once again increases weapon damage by up to 10%. And Shadow's Lament's cooldown has been reduced by 5 seconds. For the champion, while specialized in the martial champion, most damaging champion skills will now generate additional threat. Hunter, emergency preparation traps now deal their correct damage when triggered. I'm trying to figure out what are emergency preparation traps.
I think that's a yellow line thing.
Yes, I play yellow.
But I don't, so I don't know any more details than that. Tell me, Pine, what is that?
I have absolutely no idea.
I'm still in game, and I was kind of peeking. Is that? Oh, I wonder if it's one of the set bonuses. Maybe I'm clicking over here to see.
Oh, okay. It might be something to do with the set bonus, or
Triple
I guess
trap,
that's always
master
possible.
trap.
All right, Lore Master. Some Trace 3 titles have been changed to refer to air lore rather than charged air for clarity. And Burning Embers can now deal partial pulses so you won't lose damage when upgrading or downgrading embers.
Fine, that's a capstone skill in the yellow line.
Capstone skill.
So it's like one of the very last ones. Emergency preparations. When you save a trap for when you are most threatened. So if you evade, it places a trap in front of you. It's the same trap as from set trap, and it can only take place once every 8 seconds, according to the tooltip now.
Okay. Now I see. All right, so I do have that one. I just forgot what it was called then. Yes, the little trap that pops out when on occasion while you're being attacked. Now for the Mariner. Fleche no longer moves your player character. Ultimately, the movement was simply not smooth enough for on the live servers. Actually, I'm thankful for that change because there were a couple of times when I was playing my Mariner in an instance where I wonder if I did this skill at this location, will I fly off the edge of this platform? Fortunately, I never found out, and it looks like they decided that we will no longer have to worry about that. Increase the potency of traits which impact your healing potential. Increase the potency of critical damage debuff from the North Wind. When traded in the Rover line enough to access Explosive Lunge, the cooldown of Lunge has been corrected so that it only increases to a minute when used directly after a debilitating strike. Salty Blade no longer erroneously benefits from the bonuses to advanced damage. Resistance Chance now works as expected for Mariner, Throne / Potion skills. And Fire Potion damage over time pulses now have their correct critical chance. As for the Runekeeper, Concession in Rebuttal is now a combat-only skill, and its description no longer states that it has an attunement requirement. And that's it for class changes. Anybody have any comments on class changes?
Nope, I'm good.
Nope.
Right. That's right. There were no Guardian items on this list. So it looks like
No Guardian items on the list, and the Lore Master items make sense. I like that it's making things a little bit more convenient and easier to figure out.
Right. Okay. Where?
Yeah, like I said, I don't use the skill. It was for hunters, so it doesn't really do anything for me.
Okay. Yeah, you got a point there. Let's then go into combat and monsters. Generic monster range attacks now have no minimum distance from the player that they were allowed to execute. This means then that monsters are, I presume, less likely to, when they do the skill, to go back several meters and then resume to it, which is like one of the most annoying traits of. I don't know if that's if it has an impact on that, but I'm wondering if that's one of the impacts of it is that they might be less often doing that to you, saying, "Oh, wait a minute, I don't want to be here. I want to go back 50 meters." Yeah, right, right. Trying to force me to pull the next group of mobs. They seem to always go right towards the next group of mobs whenever they did that. Finesse now modifies partial BPE damage reduction and fix for monster skill and power scaling. Low level monsters were running out of power too quickly. As
What a
for craft,
shame.
yeah, what a shame. I know you really
Well,
felt it.
I was taking a mariner through I was leveling a mariner and I was dealing with Stambrog in the epic instance, and he ran out of power, and I had like got him down to where he was green, but it was kind of like, okay, this is fun. I was afraid he was going to reset or something
Oh,
before Tom comes in to steal your kill.
yeah. Yes. Ah, Tom, he gets no respect. Let's go to crafting. Vocations have been removed in favor of allowing players to train professions individually. Existing professions should not be impacted by these changes. Players will retain currently trained professions as well as any progress and guild memberships associated with those professions. See a profession trainer to train a new profession or to swap an existing profession. The tooltips for critical results in the crafting panels are not displayed properly for all items. This is a display issue only. A critical success result of a recipe will have a higher item level and stats than the base results. Hard biscuits and superior hard biscuits now correctly share the same out of combat morale regeneration rate. Trout and other fish used in crafting ingredients can now be put into crafting carryalls.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Crit crafted heal potions and had heal values similar to non-crit. These have been improved. And crafted mariner instruments and their recipes have been added to appropriate recipe scroll cases and vendors throughout the game. Yes, maybe someday I'll actually see one of those things.
I do have one question that I don't know if anybody had looked at on Bull Roar or has started any new characters like a mariner or anything since the update. Do you still have the vocation titles? Can I still get easily lost on my characters?
Oh, you're wondering if you can. I
If the
think
vocations have been removed, then have the old vocation titles been predicated out?
I got the impression that yeah, that is.
I may have
Yeah,
to
I
see
don't know.
if I
I
have a
didn't test it.
slot
I
and
didn't
try it.
see. Easiest is lost is for
It's
explore.
Explorer one, but
It is
I
explore.
love that one. But I mean, um, Apprentice of Blades for a weaponsmith, I believe.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean
don't
the
know
different
what they
ones,
did with those.
if they're still there or not. I was just kind of curious. I didn't know if anybody knew. I mean, I'm just waiting for them to unlock that fourth profession for everybody because
Yeah,
I'd like to have Gware be able to collect everything, but I'm not going to give up Taylor. She's my totally, completely full gilded high muckety muck
yeah, you're not
Taylor.
giving that up.
I'm not giving that
No.
up. No, no, no. But if she could collect scholar mats, then hey, that'd be great. Even if I do have to go back to Erdluin and start wandering around.
Uh, well, you hope that they will also sometime implement that other thing that they were hoping to implement.
Yeah, the implication that I got from Orion this past week on the forums was that because of the way that crafting was one of the first systems that they had kind of hardwired into the game, they don't think they'll ever be able to do that like they wanted to. It would.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know if that also affected the ability to prospect anything, or if that only
Yeah.
affected the
Well,
ability to
now it is
go on
kind of
board anytime.
interesting that, I mean, a lot of people are suggesting, if you remember, I believe it was the Gundabad crafting tier, or maybe the Minas Ithil, that they gave you that opportunity to learn a new recipe, and just by crafting it, you got the XP to get through the tier. If maybe they could go back and do something like that with some of the earlier levels, was the suggestion. I don't know if they're going to do that or not, but it has been
Yeah, that would be good for
suggested and
some period.
talked about by more than one person.
We shall see, because at least we know that will fit within the current system.
Yes.
We can only hope that someone takes that to heart and actually tries to do it. But first, I think they have some instances in raids to make before, and maybe some other
And
tweaks.
missions.
Oh, and missions, of course. Missions
Yeah,
are also
hopefully
to come up.
missions.
Okay. The tooltips for critical results and crafting panels are not displaying. Oh, I think I already said that.
I'm
And
sorry, you finished the crafting stuff.
yeah, that's right. I finished all the crafting stuff. Okay, you are right. I finished all the crafting stuff. Now, I just hope that, as I said, that someday I see a crafted mariner instrument, because right now the instrument my mariner is using is level, was it level 40, I think is the level of it. It's the one that you get from completing your pages.
I haven't even got that far with one.
Yeah.
I think they've got up through level 30 or 40 at the um, trainer in Bree, but I haven't got any farther with somebody who could talk to the trainers to find out what they have.
Ah, okay. Well, the trainers, the trainers themselves, they still have the same ones that they had before the update. And the recipes, I think, are going to be drops, or random drops.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It's like, I know that with, like, say, hunters, that they will give, like, even if you aren't a scholar, I could buy the scholar one for, like, a bow chant and send it to my scholar to make things. But I don't know if they're going to do that where you could talk to.
Yeah, that sounds unlikely for musical instruments.
Well, it's a woodworking thing, so.
Yeah.
Well, the minstrel ones are anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I'll,
I'm assuming that
well, I would
the
just think
Pulverizable
that
Mariner would also be woodworking, I assume.
yeah, yeah, that's what I say. I'm just figuring that if they're already making instruments, they know how, right?
Yes. Well, we'll have to find out. And well, it does say appropriate recipe scroll cases and vendors. So I guess if there are some recipes that are that sell minstrel recipes, then I guess there will be some that will sell
One other thing I could
mariners also.
suggest, you could look for what the next tier would be for that, kind of try to guess what crafting tier it would be. Send your woodworker to the skirmish camp and buy the recipe scroll cases and open them. Surely the skirmisher of Middle Earth in our presence would have plenty of marks to be able to buy the recipe scroll cases there.
Well, yeah, actually, there is a point in that. I keep on forgetting that they sell recipe scroll cases there.
That's when I run out of anything. I've had so many like low level alts lately, and the journeyman single use recipes that are like the crit recipes, so you don't have to like spend your extra crafting token mat or whatever. all of the journeyman ones, I usually end up having to go buy some scroll cases to get one or two of those that I just don't have a big stack of. But anyway, housings and decorations.
Ooh, you'd like to read that one?
But I was just going to try to redirect. We're getting so distracted. I'm sorry. We're going to stop in the middle of the notes, and we're going to talk about crafting.
Okay, sorry. Let's go. Okay, housing and decorations then. Adding Angrim greenhouse decorative walls to Angmar Reborn barter vendor. Right. And adjusting prices to all Angrim decorative walls to match 15 tokens. Any comments on that?
I guess that I need to get busy if I want decorative greenhouse walls.
Angrim greenhouse walls.
Still haven't really finished the Carndoom cluster. I just kind of like,
Yeah. Well, I certainly have. Well, doing the getting the first 3 done isn't. Well, okay. I guess those first 2 can be a little bit of a pain, but getting the first 3 done is doable. It's that raid that.
Yeah.
Let's go into instances and skirmishes. Player morale is now fully restored on login and on entering, leaving instances. Please and thank you.
Isn't that great?
Oh boy. There are times you log in and you're at half morale or worse, and my goodness gracious, if you had crashed and you logged out in a dangerous location and now you have this rat chewing on your leg when you log in.
That's a very vivid description. I take it this has happened before.
I'm trying to think if it ever literally happened. It's been a long time since it's happened, if it has, but it does sound like something that I've probably heard happen similar to it.
So I wonder if you eat Barrow Brie, log off and log back in, if you are dead. I don't know.
On what? That was a level 130 character, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Doing fine. Logged out, logged in, and health was so low that that was the end of it.
Oh, well, I guess that's time for another science experiment.
Yes, for science.
For science, yes. The featured instance rotation has been updated to include Grinchant, Hall of Valandil, Woe of the Willow, Argoroth, the Narrow Stoneheight, and Dunhol's Gorthron Ring. And next, Drygot's health has been increased by about 3 times, despite most values being reduced. In the stat crunch, Fellowship maneuvers actually gained potency, and Drygot's stat crunch health reduction did not take this into account. Now for items. Legendary item runes have been changed how they function. The different rarities now give additional levels of each tier of rarity, and they no longer have different caps of eye level they can increase in your tracery slots to within the current level band, as this ended up being rather confusing and, I should add, annoying. This increased the value of lower rarity runes considerably, so they now have a commensurately higher cost in Ancient Script, but the increase is how many levels higher rarity runes provide should now make leveling your legendary item traceries through the adventuring a good bit easier overall. Yes, that is a really nice change that they had in there.
I was able to get all of my 140 tracers up to $4.99 after I reforged, and I still have stuff left over.
Yes. Fortunately, those things are vendorable.
And venerable too.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, so that you can be able to at least get some money on the ones that are bound to your character. Gear essence slotting. As of U38, gear may feature a primary essence slot, a vital essence slot, and a regular essence slot, and of course regular essence slots. I'm sure. That was, I know, causing some people some confusion.
Confused me.
Yes. A primary essence slot can accept main stat essences, allowing you to adapt a piece of gear to provide might, agility, or will as needed to suit your build. If present, it will generally be replacing the existing main stat of a gear piece. And a vital essence slot can accept vitality, fate, morale, or power affecting essences. If present, it will usually be replacing the vitality score of a piece of gear. Regular essence slots accept all the standard gear essences. Their frequency number should be similar to current gear. The goal of the primary slot is to make it possible for players to easily customize their gear to use whatever main stat they feel required to suit their build, regardless of their armor type. And the goal of the vital slot is to allow flexibility for players to weigh vitality and power outlays while also limiting vitality stacking. It also ensures that Bjornings in particular should never be stuck with power-related stats that they cannot use. I'm sure the Bjornings appreciate that. Essence values. The stat value of a standard essence slot, as well as the value of the essence itself, has been reduced. This means that more of the overall value of the gear will appear in its inherent stats, and a smaller percentage of the overall gear value will be found in the essence slots. That way, your gear is in a better state before you start putting in your essences, I guess. And as for critical ratings, the critical ratings of gear, traits, effects have been increased. The cap on critical rating has been increased. And critical magnitude cap has been reduced. And this has the effect of making it a little bit more difficult to achieve the critical chance cap, but that will increase the player's devastating crit and crit magnitude rates and make capping those easier if you choose to pursue that goal. As for armor values, base armor values on gear in the level 150 band will be somewhat lower than prior ones, as heavy armor characters in particular could quickly cap their physical mitigation even at modest gearing levels. And shields have been dinged more than the rest of gear as they had a particularly high value, though shield tanks should be able to ultimately cap their physical mitigation values on armor alone. It will be a significantly higher average eye level.
I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of that, but
Okay.
as a shield tank.
Oh yes, as a shield tank, yes. And I guess my warden is also technically a shield tank. The benefits granted to any given class from agility, fate, might, vitality, and will have all been updated to help balance classes and itemization. And the primary stat for each class, agility, might, or will, should still provide the most benefit for the class, but the other two stats should still be appealing for some roles available to the class. With changes of to all classes in the utility of agility, might, and will, stats of the following items have been adjusted accordingly. Leather riding leggings, Dorho, Earring of the Dead City, Fateful Gunabad Earring, Flowing Silverstone of the Tortoise, and the Fleet Merchant's Earring. Stats on many Wayfarers and Travelers gear items have been adjusted to align with the current standards. Adventurer's gear at level 141 and higher also has the new statting. A few cosmetic and functional improvements to the tracery and essence socketing user interface have been added. Legendary item sockets now show their levels when the tracery is not socketed. The UI is now scalable to the horizontal direction to help the crowding of tracery names and descriptions, and some erroneous messaging regarding traceries has been corrected. Well, all right. And potion vendors have been updated with level 150 poison, disease, fear, and wound removal drafts and salves. In light of the changes to enhancement runes, many scaling instances now reward less rare enhancement runes than before. And the level 50 class armor sets available from class trainers in the less homely house for marks are now bound to account rather than bound to equip. And the currency cap on marks of renewal has been increased to 750. Anything anyone wants to add concerning items?
I like that they're making some of those nice raid level stuff. Those were the nice level 50 stuff, wasn't it? Some of the level 50, the last homely house stuff. I like that they're making them bind to account, so you could pass them to alts that need them. You don't have to keep
buying them again.
Yeah.
But the alt that you pass it on to would have to be the same class, unless you were doing.
Some of us are altaholics. Yes. Fine. That's perfectly fine.
Okay. And the currency cap for marks of renewal has been. Oh, that's where we talked about that. Yes. For missions and delvings, fix the typo in the mission the Jaruka clan. And mission weekly quests have been updated to go up to level 150. And that meant that with the release of Corsairs of Umbar, all mission weekly quests that were underway were reset. As for PvMP, monster players now have a trait slot for tribe traits. The incoming damage reduction from Akuhun's challenge and Lanithal's call to arms has been significantly reduced. Troll and Ranger session play characters in the Etmores now have an inherent minus 50% incoming damage effect. As for the Orc Defiler, Sticky Feet and improved Sticky Feet debuff durations have been increased by 5 seconds. The improved Sticky Feet debuff no longer stacks. It can only be applied once per target and will refresh its duration if reapplied early. Sticky Feet's fire mitigation debuff has been reduced from 5% to 2%. And Sticky Feet's tactical mitigation debuff has been changed from a rating value to a 5% reduction. As for the Uruk War Leader, the radius of the Uruk banners has been significantly reduced. Monster play characters can revisit the tribe representative NPCs and Gramsfoot to obtain blessing traits. PvMP essences are now correctly bound to account. Etmore's barters, consumables, food, hope, and scrolls now require trackers badges or soldiers patches in addition to commendations, but provide effects with equivalent potency to matching consumables obtainable outside of the Etmores. And Etmore's stun and rude breaking potions mod for gold now cost 3% of your max morale rather than a fixed cost of 500. I'm sure that Krister will complain about that last one. He doesn't like anything that's a percentage of your max morale.
Well, Krister's not here.
Yeah.
He'll have to weigh in on that later.
Right. So let's go into quests, deeds, and adventure areas. Rohan housing stable masters are now properly displayed on the radar and maps again. The turn-in for the quest of Stars and Blossoms now has the correct quest guide and map rings. Thank you. Physics has been removed from the chess for the Sotlore 3-man instances. Players will no longer be displaced by chess showing up. Right? The Sotlore 3-man boss Tarka Oka will no longer sit idly by while you attack his keeper. Kolnadak's appearance has been fixed so that she looks correct. Applying salve to scar trees during the quest, the ravages of the Tower Grim will now say applying instead of examining. And fix a typo in the skirmish Siege of Gondaman. And floating crates and NPCs in the quest marked for export has been grounded. During the quest delivery to Marigrot Northtook, Rosalinda will no longer tell you the basket is on a table next to her. And physics have been removed from the Orcish weapon caches in Tharbad. And the location for Sturkist has been corrected for the turn-in of the quest as scattered in the forest. Honadak and Dingasi are no longer wearing the same outfit and looking similar. The map guide for the quest Release the Hounds has been fixed. Patrols for healers in the Houses of Healing during the wedding season have been fixed. A quest objective for the quest Fortifying Kritos has been moved out from underneath a rock for better access.
I love that you had to move it out from under a rock.
Losi in Anakrafu's voiceover has been changed to reflect his Iron Hills background. The poison dwarves in Azanulmazar have been given proper lines to express thanks for the antidote.
Okay, this next one is cracking me up.
Okay, yes. Fix the T-posing irritated Zhelruka dwarf.
He's T-posing for dominance. He wants you to know he's upset.
Physics has been removed from numerous grub and mushroom quest objects in Madugard. Uluithiad will now say one less the than the thes that he was saying before. Increased player damage and ally health slightly in the season play Remembering Thrym. And orcs in the Moria Halls of Crafting instance are no longer excited about falling into the abyss.
Aww.
No longer excited about falling.
Oh, well. Whee! I'm going to get the Blind Leaper title.
Door naming issues in Midsummer Minas Tirith have been resolved. Problematic fish in the Brandy Hills are no longer problematic. They know what they did.
That's great.
Yes. Miscellaneous of floating objects have been grounded, and miscellaneous missing physics issues have been resolved.
Do you suppose they're going to fix the floating guards that could have the bottoms of their feet tickled in the new area? That was great earlier.
Well, I don't know.
Get them toes.
We ran past them. I was like, they're floating. Somebody should really tickle them.
Yeah, well, it depends on whether or not anyone files a bug report for them. And as for miscellaneous things, adds a higher quality DX10 dynamic shadows setting. The current very high will be renamed the high, and a new very high option will replace it with the following improvements. Increases the distance that shadows are rendered to bridge the gap between the dynamic shadows and far view baked shadows maps. Adds terrain into the Shadowcasters list, and increases shadow map resolution to reduce pixelization. Stat tomes now offer a smoother progression of bonuses from level to level. Alright. And slash listen is now usable while mounted. Now, of course, with every update, we have the known issues.
Dun, dun,
And
dun.
some of these are dillies. First off,
Oh.
Adventurers loot boxes opened at level 141 and higher are not giving the proper level 141 Seafaring Adventurers Humble Essence box, but instead are still giving the level 140 Delving Adventurers Lively Essence boxes. We will correct this issue in the next game update. Players interested in receiving level 141 essences should wait to open the Adventurers Steelbound loot boxes until after the next game update.
And not because of the delving boxes, because the next reason.
Next is, we have temporarily disabled the ability to use the Flame of Ankalamir, and we will re-enable its usage the next time in the next game update. Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, everybody's wanting to re-gear. I have old stuff that is bound to wear that I'm like, I don't know why I hung on to it, but I have stuff like in my vault and in my bag that I'm like, I should have broken this down, evidently. I don't care if I get motes instead of embers, but I don't have room right now.
Yeah. So, yes. The interlude at the end of The Song of Waves and Wind, Chapter 7, is temporarily unavailable. In fact, this interlude is apparently so secret they couldn't even give the title of it without it being a major spoiler, apparently. And this quest will return in the next game update. And also, the task quests in the Corsairs of Umbar are temporarily unavailable due to a bug. We will reopen these quests in the next game update. Now, I would presume these task boards must be in Umbar City or something, because I have not seen a single...
I know that I've seen them there, and there's also the housing area. I don't know if they had added the task quests there.
Oh, okay. You're right, that's
From
a possibility
what
also.
little I've gathered, from what I understand, there were ones that you could stand at and turn them in, and it didn't pull things out.
That
You
would
could
explain
just keep
why they are temporarily
turning things in.
unavailable.
Yeah. Let's
And
see.
yes, and a small amount of text may display in English as it is pending translation. Those are the known issues. Now, they are currently planning on having a patch next week, most likely on Wednesday, but as you know, these things can sometimes change due to things going wrong or something like that. But I would say most likely on Wednesday. There will be the usual downtime that we have for Wednesday is probably going to have a patch in there. Now, there is another thing that's happening on Wednesday. And has some people concerned, and that is that next Wednesday is when we have the new season for the rewards item. And of course, some people are complaining about this because they have all this stuff that's in their inventory because they can't use the flame, but because the flame is currently disabled. So Cordovan did say that it's possible, well, that they are discussing the possibility of delaying the changing of the season, but they have not made a decision on the matter, or at least they didn't as of yesterday. So don't count on it happening, and as if at all possible, unless you hear an official announcement to the contrary, assume the season change is going to be on Wednesday when the worlds come back up after the update. All right, and that is the entire set of release notes and known issues, at least known as of when they last edited this. And the release notes also have embedded with them a link to the trailer. So if you wish to see that, of course, that is a link to the YouTube videos. So if you subscribe to the LOTRO YouTube channel, then you can also probably have it in your subscription feed. Anyone wants to add anything else relating to the update? Then one last item related to this is they did post the final image of the Kindred of the coins, and in fact they made a 4K version of these. So you can have a look at each of them, as I'm sure that we are going to be running into each of these in turn at some point.
Well, what, one I think we already met? I'm trying to remember. I have to look at the picture again. Haven't we met her already?
Yes, we met her. Yeah, that's right. We met her in chapter 1. You meet her, yes. There's another one in here that at least Cinders and I have met. Well, semi-met, I guess you could say.
We've heard of.
We've heard of. We've seen his drawing, let's say. And I'm sure you have. I think you have at least seen the drawing, where, because you said you've been through most of chapter 2 by now, right?
There is an instance where we meet one of the characters who was mentioned at Farouk Khazar.
Right. Yes. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's another one. Yes. So I'm wondering is if in each of the chapters you're going to meet, because there are 7 chapters, and there's 7 members of the.
Well, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, so
we'll have to see.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if each of these has a little part to play, so that when you go to Outer Gondor, are you going to be running into another one who might be causing trouble or whatever? We will have to find out. But that's a little pet hypothesis I've got at the moment. And that's it for the game news this week. So let's go into the store sales. Cinders, what's on sale this week?
All right, on sale this week, it is store, carry, and share. Get 20% off. Vault storage and shared storage inventory slots now through November 16th. The weekly coupon is for free regeneration food times 5 with coupon code REGENFOOD, REGENFOOD, now through November 16th.
Yes, you obviously want to go and get your cram as soon as possible, right?
Yes. So
I don't need to worry about that. The hobbits keep sending me cram.
I just want to cram it in my face.
Right.
Well, it's either that or tomes of tracking on my hunter. They're trolling me.
Well, at least those are bound to account instead of the character, right?
Yes, they are. I know. I just still, it's like, ugh. Why can't, when I'm claiming it on somebody, that it be something to be useful?
That'll be useful
Sorry.
immediately or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, then. Let's into our weekend gaming. Cinders, what were you up to?
So in Minecraft, following the epic death adventures of the previous week, I did not manage to recover all of my stuff. I did make one attempt, but promptly died. But I found one of Krister's delvings, and then I reorganized some of all of Sanswinda's storage. It was driving me crazy trying to find stuff in there, so I just fixed it for her.
Does she know you did that?
Yes, she does. I told her after I had done it, and she laughed, and she goes, "Thank you," because it will make it easier for her to find stuff as well. And then I did complete my second building for community food storage, and now I just have to name this new restaurant. So it's pink.
New restaurant.
Yes, it's pink. That's going to store all of the food for the group to pull from. Because my Minecraft character does a lot of farming and food crafting so that the others can go adventuring, because I have a tendency to die horrible deaths. So then I also spent some time when I was not in conferences, spent some time with Pine Leaf's characters, running around in the beginning parts of King's Gondor through Chapter 1. And I was really amused by the pleasingly pulverizable stones, and it got me wondering what else might be pleasingly pulverizable. And so far I've come up with the savory herbs would probably be pleasingly pulverizable. Some of the other, like the berries, like those would probably be pleasingly pulverizable. But I think that's just fun. And then I also discovered some vile bile, and I feel like it was really a missed opportunity to have vile bile piles. But that was another fun thing for me this week. And then last but not least, I have begun doing some of the newer content with Pine Leaf. But one of the things that I am loving out of the last update and this one so far are romances. They're hysterical, and I have been thoroughly enjoying them and being like, they have a crush. Oh, they're gonna have a girlfriend. Oh, they're gonna, yeah. So that's been my joy. Where have you been up to?
Well, I have many things I would like to squee about in the new release, but I shall not, because I want to maintain a spoiler-free zone for us for a while longer. But I have a new favorite quest in the game in Lothgabel. It just cracked me up. And there's one that made me laugh a lot in Tadrint. Suffice it to say that I think that the quest writing has been great so far in all that I've done. And I'm still in Western Gondor. Just got to Dol Amroth and met an old friend that haven't seen in a while, and I'm very happy about that. I've really been enjoying what I've been experiencing so far. There are some things about it that are kind of driving me a little bit crazy, like the fact that you don't seem to get a lot of berry hides dropping, even though you're in King's Gondor, Western Gondor. But as a tailor, this is bothering me. But I'm sure that things will even out in time, and I'm hoping as we get farther into the content that it'll be nothing but but good stuff dropping. In ESO, thanks to the Witches Festival XP buff, I am now over level 1600 and still managed to die not roll dodging quickly enough out of stupid, which I proved Wednesday night while chasing dragons in Elsewhere with Krister, Terryadwin, and company. It was a lot of fun running around with everybody, though. Yeah, and otherwise, when I'm not like in MMOs, my Nintendo Switch has Fae Farm on it, and it is adorable and addictive. That is all. Pine Leaf, what have you been up to?
All right. My Mariner helped Cinders finish up the Gunabad area, and then when we had release of the new content, I headed into King's Gondor, and I've reached up to the Blackroot Vale, so I am maybe early chapter 3 or something like that. Then my Hunter joined Cinders for the first chapter of the Songs of Waves and Wind. And then my Runekeeper, first thing I did is I joined Friday Night Fights, and then I joined Cinders for chapters 2 and 2, and I'm continuing on there with the Song of Waves and Wind. You say, why didn't my Runekeeper join her for chapter 1? And that's because my Runekeeper had already done chapter 1, so I decided I'll have my Hunter who hadn't done chapter 1 yet do chapter 1 with her, and then I switched over to my my Hunter had did chapter 1, so my Runekeeper could then join her at chapter 2. So I was doing a lot of different characters with Cinta. I'm sure she's getting confused because every time we start at a new day, it's neat to have a new character to play with her.
I just call them all Pine Leaf. There's no confusion.
Yes. Well, it does help that they all answer to the name Pine, I guess.
True.
And that's it for my week in LOTRO. If you'd like to send an email, you can send it to podcast at lotroplayers.com. And we record LOTRO Players News each Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Standard Time, and our sister show, DDO Players News, records when Drac is available. You can join us for our shows at lotroplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight, then. This is Pine Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.